Okay, welcome back for another edition of Thursdays with Sin. Thank you so much for joining in today. I appreciate you being here and hearing some of my insights and things that'll hopefully motivate and inspire you to take just one step towards your own entrepreneurial journey. So let's get started. Today's topic is called cliff diving blindfolded. All right, sounds interesting. Well, I've got a great story to tell you, so let's jump right into it. Recently, I saw on Facebook a friend of mine visiting Hawaii, and she had some beautiful pictures that she was posting all about her trip. And a lot of what she was doing was hiking. And that brought me back a memory of when I visited Hawaii many, many years ago. And that was one of the things that I did. So, Hawaii in itself is probably the most beautiful place I've ever been. Every inch of it is just gorgeous. And not only the views, but the landscaping, the truly delectable foods, lots of music and dancing, and most of it included fire. So you have to experience it for yourself to understand that part. But anyway, hiking is a very, very popular activity that goes on there, and tons of places to go. They have excursions set up all over every island because it's such a beautiful natural habitat. It's just a wonderful thing to do. So it's a great way to be able to experience all the natural beauty of the area, right? So wanting to get the full experience of while I was there and visiting, I signed up for a tour, and actually included cliff diving, right? Now it's like, oh, that'll be fun to watch. So, I had seen the activity on TV many, many times, and it was really seemed it's just so thrilling and adventurous and exciting to watch other people do it. So I thought it would be pretty cool to kind of take this excursion and check it out for myself. So off we go, right? Now, it was a pretty rough and rugged terrain on the hike, all the way up to the mountain, and just taking in all the beauty around you, all the plants and the trees and the flowers. They're so unique and just amazingly lush and beautiful, most of which are pretty native to that area by itself. So nothing that you would see back home, right? So you're just taking in and absorbing every single moment of the trip. Truly a tropical paradise. I recommend going if you ever have a chance to visit, definitely do it. Now, one of the best things that I remember is they don't have snakes there. So that was pretty awesome because around here, if you're, trekking through the jungle, or I don't have a jungle where I live, but trekking through the mountains or going on a nature hike, snakes are a big concern. So they don't have snakes there. So as far as I know, that's what it was then. Hopefully they haven't been introduced there since then. But anyway, it was a wonderful, wonderful adventure. So after a couple of hours of hiking to the top of this mountain, we begin to hear all this laughter and yelling and talking and screaming and just all this commotion going on. So around the next bend and around the next corner, we finally get to the spot, right? Now, this is the spot that was a natural formation. It was like a mountainous area. And it was a natural formation of a rock ledge overhanging this body of water. And I would classify this body of water as a very, very small pond, right? A lot smaller than I thought it was going to be. So that was interesting, but nevertheless. So everyone was so excited that, we were watching these brave souls climb up to the top and jump off and just yell all the way down and just screaming and having a good time and just cheering each other on. It was, some were really scared when they did it, but then, once they got down and got in the water and came back up, it was totally all smiles and they were all happy and, jubilated. It was just really, really fun to watch, right? Now, as a spectator watching this event, I quickly observed there were three different categories of people and three distinct groups of people that were there watching. You were either in the number one category, which was complete no fear. You're definitely doing it. You're going straight to the top and you're jumping right over the cliff, right? Then there was category number two. And those are the people that were truly they wanted to experience it, but they were really fearful. They were just terrified of, being able to jump off and to muster up that kind of courage and their nerve to be able to do it. But they really wanted to, but they were just terrified. So number 3 were those that were like, forget it, ain't happening, not going near there. So it was pretty interesting to watch it. And honestly, they all kind of congregated in different areas. So you could see people that were like-minded were kind of hanging out together and making the same comments. So there was a natural gravitation of the 3 distinct groups, right? So that was pretty fun and pretty amazing to watch. So now, as I'm standing there watching all this occurring, I quickly find myself in category number 2, which was, I really wanted to do it. It looked so much fun, like so much fun and exhilarating, but I was terrified. So I'm not sure about it, iffy, kind of on the border. So, it was truly fascinating to watch, but I just don't know about that. So in just a few moments, I found myself having these daredevil thoughts that kind of came up from my childhood, right? So I found myself thinking things like, well, if they can do it, so can I. Nobody's died doing it that I knew about anyway, right? How exhilarating would that be to be one of those people jumping off that ledge and just mastering that feat, right? You only live once. When in Rome, right? I'll never get this opportunity again. Seize the moment. I need to do it, right? So I'm just talking myself into it. I'm just having all these thoughts and really thinking, I can do it. I really can. I really can. And just building up my courage and my momentum. And just like that, I talked myself into it and I was on my way to the top of that ledge. So I'm climbing all the way up and I'm waiting my turn. And as like 5 or 6 people in front of me, and it drops down to 4, drops down to 3, drops down to 2. Okay, my heart is beating now just telling the story. Oh my gosh. So true panic starts to set in. And now I'm starting to think, well, just because these other crazy people are doing it, that doesn't mean I have to do it. What am I thinking? What if I'm the first one to die ever doing this crazy thing here, jumping off who would be crazy enough to jump off this ledge into this water? Who knows what's under this water, right? So what if I die and I'm this far away from home? How are they going to get my body back home? So at this point, my whole body is just shaking like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? Just because I'm here, just because I'm seeing everyone else do it, that doesn't mean I have to do it. What am I thinking? Am I crazy? So, I need to turn around and just go back down. Just forget it. I don't know these people. They'll never see me again. No shame, right? I can go back down. I could just sit back and watch everybody else doing it and have just as much fun as they are, just from a safe position over here, observing the whole thing. Okay, now, a few more seconds go by. I'm almost the very next one in line now. I'm down to 1 person. Then I'll start debating with myself. Oh my God, I hate it when that happens because I know I'm fixing to get myself in trouble. Why are you going to miss this opportunity, right? So having this self-talk. You're right here. Just jump. You can do it. Stop being a scaredy cat. This is the moment. This is something you will never experience again. You'll never have this opportunity ever in your entire life, right? Everybody else was scared too, and they did it. So why aren't you going to be brave enough to do it too? They're back up here. Not only did they do it once, they actually did it, and they're back up here doing it again. So being the very stubborn, determined person that I am, and one never willing to give up and not face a challenge head on, and obviously never willing to be defeated at anything, which sometimes really gets me in trouble, I took my rightful place in line as the very next person. I'm done with the flip-flopping. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I've made up my mind. I've made up my decision. I'm next. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it if it kills me. I've got that kind of resolve, right? So in just a few moments, my turn comes and I walk up to the edge of that ledge very slowly because I don't want to fall off. I want to be able to just jump off with purpose and with mission, with the mission to accomplishment. I don't want to fall and hurt myself. So I took a small little peek and looked over the ledge. Big mistake. Don't ever do that. Holy moly. Oh my gosh. Again, I can feel my heart beat, my heart racing right now, just thinking about this. This was years ago. And this rush of fear and adrenaline has now come back and it's in my chest at this very moment. So I can remember it just like it was yesterday. And I'm looking over this ledge and I'm thinking, that's a long way down. Holy crap. So at this point, obviously I'm terrified. My heart is beating out of my chest. I don't know if I can do it. Even no matter how much I want to, I don't know that I physically can move and do it. I couldn't breathe. I honestly could not breathe, and I couldn't even move my feet. It was like they were frozen to the ground. So I'm standing there with my eyes wide open like pancakes, and I'm like, my mouth is open. I'm like, I'm almost fixing to hyperventilate. Truly, I'm at that point, and I just, there's no sound even. I'm just standing there, and I'm looking like, what am I going to do? So those few seconds seemed like an eternity, right? So then my vision comes back, my sound, my hearing comes back, and I'm hearing these people around me, and they're saying, they start giving me a pep talk, right? So they're like, do it, don't even think about it. Just close your eyes and just jump, just do it, jump, jump, jump. So I hear all these people, encouraging me and cheering me on. And, a few others behind me are the ones that were fearful at first, and they used the felt found technique that I actually teach other people, right? Oh, I felt the same way. And I found out that if you just close your eyes and just do it, then you can do it. You can do it. Just jump, jump, jump. I felt the same way. And I found out you're not going to die. It's so much fun. Look at me. I'm back up here doing it again. All right. So, all right. Well, that was encouraging. So I'm still standing there. And I realized I can't stand here forever. I even let a couple people go in front of me. It's like, okay, let me just breathe. Let me just get my bearings about me. And I'm trying to talk myself into it, but I couldn't hold up the line any longer. It's do or die time. I have to make the decision. I either have to jump or I've got to turn around and go back down the mountain, this cliffside, right? So I'm standing there. I took a deep breath. I made my decision. I took more deep breaths, several more, and then another one, a bigger one on top of that. And it took me 4 more tries, but I finally picked up one foot and I placed it in front of the other, and I got to the edge and I made the leap. Oh my gosh, I'm going to cry now. Just thinking about the fear, but at the same time, mustering up the courage and how exhilarating that was. And I did it. Daggone it, I did it. Now, all the way down, we're talking 3 or 4 stories. In my mind, that's what I remember. It seemed like eternity. It seemed like the Capitol of the Empire State Building obviously was not that tall, but that's what it seemed like. And as I'm going down, time just stopped, right? So my mind is just racing. I'm having all these counteracting thoughts going on. What am I going to do? What have I done? I'm fussing at myself at this moment. And then I'm thinking, I did it. So I'm so excited. And then I'm thinking, I'm going to die. I'm literally going to die. And then the next moment, I am so freaking proud of myself. And then again, I'm back on this side. Oh my gosh, I hope I don't drown. So at that moment, I finally plummeted into the water. And it seemed like it took 10 minutes for me to go all the way down. I just remember scrambling, trying to make my way back up to the surface. I'm sure it took mere seconds, but it seemed like eternity. And I finally made it back up to the surface, and I'm gasping for air, and I just sucked in as much air as I possibly could because I had no air in my lungs because I had gasped so hard on the way down that I had no more air in my lungs. So I'm gasping for air, and I'm just standing there treading water. Not standing there, I'm swimming, I'm treading water, I'm floating, I'm able to keep myself above water. And again, it's just a paralyzing moment in time where finally I'm breathing. I recognize I'm breathing. My hearing finally starts coming back, and it seems like muffled sounds, and finally it gets clearer and clearer. And I start hearing people yelling and clapping and just encourage me. Yay, you did it, you did it. And it was these same people that were standing in line. They were still in the water. They had actually been in the water, the ones I had let go in front of me, and they were yelling up at me, come on, you can do it, you can do it. So they waited for me on the as I jumped, and they were there to cheer me on and welcome me. And oh my gosh, I cannot tell you. I cannot tell you what a rush it was. Again, I get emotional just thinking about it. And telling this story, I've decided I'm going to go back. I'm going to find that cliff, and I'm going to do it again. Even at this age, I'm going to do it again because I know I can do it. I've done it. I've done it before. I'm going to do it again just to say I did, right? So wow, what an experience. It was truly one of the most amazing times of my entire life. I don't, other than the birth of my children, and obviously how amazing that was, just truly exhilarating. I just can't explain it any better. So I swam over to the edge, and I got out of the water. Oh, I'm taking deep breaths. I'm so freaking proud of myself at that moment. And I got out, I climbed out on the edge, and I ran back up that cliffside. I ran back up, and I got in line, and daggone if I didn't do it again. Because I'm like, once you fall off a horse, if you don't get back on and do it right away, you'll never do it. But at this point, I didn't fail. It was success, and I wanted to experience it again. And I wanted to have the experience of enjoying it in the whole process versus being fearful, and how that was a truly different experience because I was so terrified I couldn't breathe, and I was able to do it. But this time I wanted to go back up and do it a second time for the joy of it. Completely different experience, much more thrilling, much more rewarding. And I was so much happier, and I was so glad that I did do it a second time. I probably did a couple times more after that because I think I did it about 3 times, and then I was tired. So I'm like, I'm going to quit before I literally do drown. So anyway, but doing doing the whole process truly was a blind leap of faith. All I had to go on was my drive and my determination and my inner spirit, and just being bold and crazy at the same time, and determined. And I'm just one that if I'm faced with a challenge, I just meet it head on. That's just in my nature, and it's the way I approach life, and it's the way I approach business. And honestly, I just refuse to allow fear to ruin the moment, regardless of what that moment is. I just refuse to allow fear to control me. And I decide to give it everything I've got. I dig down deep, and I just find some resolve, and I just go after it. I just take the leap of faith and blindly push forward, and I take advantage of the opportunity that I'm faced with, and I just keep going, right? So in this instance and in this story, I allowed my desire to achieve this goal to be bigger than the fear that was consuming me at the moment. So think about that. How would I have felt? And I had this conversation with myself as well, the good side versus the bad side. And I'm thinking, how would I feel if I chicken out right now and go back home? What if I never, I'm on the East Coast, I'm in Virginia. So going to Hawaii is a pretty big feat. It's a long ways away. What if I never get the opportunity to come back? And what if I don't take this chance right now and experience this moment? How am I going to feel? And I knew I would regret it. I knew I would regret it forever. So I just wasn't willing to feel like that once I got back. I would never be able to live with myself, right? So before I jumped off that ledge, now I had no idea what the future would hold for me once I took that leap off that high cliff point, right? Would I die? Would I drown? Would I hit my head or on something underneath the water or on the way down and break my neck and somehow be paralyzed for the rest of my life? All of these were very real concerns, but I could see other people doing it. They weren't dying. They weren't drowning. They weren't becoming paralyzed. So I took advantage of seeing their outcomes as a positive, that I would have the same experience. Yes, could something happen? Sure, it could, but it wasn't happening to them. And I wanted to be one of those people, right? I wanted to have the same amount of success. Their excitement was exhilarating and it was infectious. I was caught up in the moment and I'm like, all right, I can do it too. I want to feel the very same things and feel the very same feelings that these people are experiencing. So, some people backed out. They did get up to the top. They were in the number 2 category. They were fearful, but they wanted to try it. And they ended up backing out and went on and climbed back down and never did do it and watched from the safe spectator side. And of course, again, those with the category 3 people that said, forget it, ain't happening. But at the same time, they had to make the right decision for themselves. Did they have regret later once they got back home? Possibly, who knows? They have to make their own decisions. Everybody has to make whatever decision is right for you. So, don't fall to peer pressure, but at the same time, you have to know what strengths you have and really what you want to accomplish and determine if fear is going to stop you from moving forward. All right. So think about how you can apply this story and this whole scenario to the business world. So when I see other people being successful, I instantly think, why are they different than me? I can be successful too. I'm smart, pretty much. I'm not the sharpest tack in the box, but I'm not the dullest either. So, truly, I believe in myself and my ability and my capability. And I think, what? If they can do it, so can I. I can learn, I can figure it out. Maybe it'll take me longer, but I'll get there. So I want you to think about this too and apply it to your own situation and take a look at yourself and think about if you're even considering becoming an entrepreneur in whatever category, whatever adventure that you want to explore, then think about it. Are you willing to take that blind leap of faith and take that first step to doing something to accomplish your goal? Or are you going to sit back on the sidelines? Or maybe you're going to take one step, but you're not going to take that second and you kind of back out and pull back. You still want to do it, but you're just not brave enough to go forward. Fear is real. We all have fear, but you have to come to a point to determine if you're going to allow it to stop you from moving forward and achieving your dreams and goals. Is it scary? Heck yeah. Trust me, I'll be the first one to tell you it's scary. Did it take a huge learning curve for me to get to where I am right now and dedication to find my path? I've actually taken 3 or 4 different paths before I landed right here, but everything was a learning process along the way. And now I'm better for it. And I can't wait I'm going to have another training topic on that. So I can't wait to share that with you. So absolutely, it's a big learning curve. It's a lot of nicks and bruises and cuts along the way. But guess what? They heal and you learn from it and you become better for it in the end. So is it worth it? Is it worth that rough trek through the jungle and the fear that you experience jumping off that cliff into the water, not knowing what's underneath that top layer, what's down deep that you cannot even see? 1,000 times yes, it is worth it, and you are worth it. So my message today is not to let fear stop you from taking that very first step. It's just one step. See where it goes, right? It might be a doozy, just like that jump off that cliff. It might be a doozy, and it might take your breath away as you're going down until you plummet into the water. But you will gain confidence, you will gain self-worth, and you will become an example for others to follow. Think about that. Because the other people ahead of me jumped off that cliff and they survived, they became my example to follow. If they can do it, I can too. Okay. So don't ever let fear take away your joy of what could be. We never know what's going to happen beyond that very first step. We are blindfolded. And because, we can't foresee the future, we don't know what's going to happen, but you'll never know the possibilities that await you beyond that first step if you don't at least try. Now, I'll leave you with this quote today, and it's from Martin Luther King, and he says, faith is taking the very first step, even when you don't see the whole staircase. So I want you to think about that, and I challenge you to take just one step today, even if it's just clicking on YouTube and searching out a video that's in a field or something that you're at least have an interest in. Learn something new. Go reach out and contact or just follow, maybe on Facebook, or look up a website of someone that you admire or someone that you respect in the business world that's in the same or on the same journey or in the same niche that you want to be in. Start following them and learning from them and seeing, trust me, every single moment you spend studying either a topic or someone that is successful, you're going to learn, and it's going to help you be able to gain the trust in yourself to be able to take that first step or maybe the next step. Okay. So just see what happens. You might just surprise yourself how fun your next adventure will be. All right. So if you'd like to learn more about what I do as an e-commerce business manager, then I welcome you to check out my free Facebook group called Ecom, that's with 2 M's, Ecom Business Community. It's a free Facebook group, and I do trainings just like this and more. And it's a group of other like-minded people that are interested in an e-commerce entrepreneurial journey, because that's my specialty. So I welcome you there. I'd love to work with you and help you see if that's something you might want to explore. Also, I have a wonderful website called cynmeadows.com. That's cynmeadows.com. And I have tons of free training there that you can take advantage of. There's even a free toolkit that we're getting ready to post here shortly that is like a mini training course all in itself to see if becoming an EBM or e-commerce business manager is something that you'd like to explore. So thanks for showing up today. I appreciate your time. Let me know what you think about today's topic. Let me know if you've ever faced a fear and what you did to overcome that and took that first leap in order to create more confidence in yourself. And I want to know how you handle that and what the next step held for you. I want to hear your success stories. Okay, so take care, and I will see you next time.